the notes page as well. Throw that on the side. Let's make this full screen. And I think we are good to go. I feel like there was something else. I feel like there was something else that I was supposed to do beforehand. Let me see. I can't remember. It must not have been that important. Anyways. Oh, checking my... Oh, let me move this over here. Checking my folder, my hard drive, to make sure I have enough space to actually record this stream. Here we go. We have... Oh, we got plenty of space. We have plenty of space. I'm not worried. Alright, anyways, how is everyone doing in the chat today? How are things? How's it going? Today's mission is to make a whole bunch of resolve effects and then throw them up on the store page. So what I'm gonna need... Wow. Actually, the plan is make a whole bunch of text stuff and then make a whole bunch of other animations that we can also use. So I'm actually going to copy all of this and I'm going to make a little underlay here. Bam, just like that. And I think I can name this too. So let's rename this as, we'll call it Effects Breakdown Playground. Oh, and it's gonna, it wants me to rename everything. I'm not doing that. We're just doing the one we just wanted to rename. There we go, the underlay. That is pretty cool, though. It gives me the option to do that. Okay, wow. I am going to have to get rid of a bunch of stuff. How do I even want to do this? Let's see. Let's see. I don't need this. I do not need the media out for now, so I'm going to move that to the side. And I'm not really feeling this song. Here we go. Switch that to something a little bit better. I'm not going to need necessarily all of this. So we're going to get rid of that along with this. And I'm going to add a transform here. Hey, FL3Z, good to see you. Happy you could join us. Right now we're in the midst of making some DaVinci Resolve presets. This comes from this, and we're taking this, we're breaking it down, and we're going to turn it into some smaller presets, some more individual presets, as opposed to just all of, like, everything all together. So we were using these switch nodes here to kind of switch between animations. Yeah, I'm glad you like it. We're using a whole bunch of switch nodes to switch in between. I keep looking at the chat instead of looking at you. We're using a bunch of switch nodes to switch between animations, and that's how we have everything kind of connected. And now what I'm doing is I'm taking the individual ones, and we're going to throw them up on the store completely free for anyone who wants to have a go and play around with them. So I just need to simplify some of this stuff. And then I need to make a list of what kind of things we want to add in here as well. So how you doing today? Do you mind if I call you 3Z? How you doing today, 3Z? Let's see. So, wow, I'm really not gonna need so much of this. I'm so used to everything being extremely complicated and, like, you know, hyper optimized, hyper connected. And now I'm able to be like, oh yeah, I don't need this, I don't need this, I don't need that. You're doing good. Good to hear. We're doing incredible today. I've been meaning to do this for a while. I made this preset almost a month ago, I think. Yeah, I think almost a month ago. I made version 1 of this. And now... Oh, wait a second. Why is it... Oh, I know why. Yeah, I can only plug in one thing to the transform at a time. Good. 3Z, are you a new Resolve user? Or you just popping in because you saw an interesting stream? Let me know kind of where you're at with all this stuff. Okay, so I can actually get rid of the switches. I don't need to worry about the transforms for now. This, I think I can make a note. I think there is actually a sticky note node. And then I can add a note in here for the text. I don't know if this just grows naturally as I type. Let's see. Ah, there we go. I can double click. You're new to editing, trying to learn, but it's a bit hard. With only YouTube, maybe I can help somehow. Absolutely. Tell me a little bit more about what kind of videos you like to edit. Are you doing like vlog stuff? You're doing gaming? You're doing like maybe story time or information, education? Give me the whole laydown. And while you do that, I'm going to type out exactly what I want to include in this text node to be available. We're going to do size. We're going to do font. We're going to make sure the actual text is available. You can type in there. We want to include the tracking, which is the letters. Actually, let me make sure this is available. Tracking, which is how far the letters are spaced. Line spacing we'll throw in there just in case. Every now and then someone has a font where you'll change from like a large font to a small font and everything just suddenly gets crunched into each other because the font size is actually wonky. So line spacing will really help with that. Color I'm going to want in there, and then shading 1, 2, and 3. Shading 1 is the actual text body here. Like this is shading 1, the white part. Shading 2 is the outline, and then shading 3 is the shadow, which you won't really notice until I toggle it. So all of those need to be included. I think that should be just about everything for the text. We have the transform. We're going to have the grow. We've got the shrink. And let me just double check this here. Okay, yeah, this is constants. So these are animations that grow over, or animations that take place over time. I can show you exactly what that looks like. And this is just growing over time. So I zoom out and then I just go further down. You can see that the further along we get, the more this grows. Let's see. I did one gaming montage. It's not very bad, but it's kind of hard. And right now I'm trying to make a business or video short, and I don't know from where to start. It's not my business. I asked people on one group to give some footage. Okay, yeah. I've been down that road before. So I'm guessing for the business one, I'm gonna go out on a limb here, and I'm gonna guess that it's probably like portrait like this, talking head. Someone's talking about either a service or a product that they have to sell. And something that you want to do with editing, there's a saying, and it goes like this. It goes, show, don't tell. And what that means essentially is if I talk about, for example, if I'm teaching how to edit and I'm talking about, it's so difficult because all the information's kind of scattered across the internet, and maybe my product is that I can offer services that kind of keeps everything all together, then I might show like stock footage of someone kind of being frustrated at the internet. I might do a whole bunch of very quick transitions from like page to page to page, different pages on the internet, as if you're actually flipping through trying to look for stuff. I might show someone like rubbing their temples, like having a headache, like, oh, this is so rough. And so that's an example of showing instead of just telling, because I can tell you anything, but when you have like portrait content that's for mobile, you're competing with everyone else, right? The amount of stimulation that most people need nowadays to stay engaged, unfortunately, keeps growing higher. But we can adapt to that, right? We can figure out, okay, how do I keep my content engaging, where I can give people helpful information, or I can get across the message that I want, and still hold their attention so that they're listening. So that's one example. Another one that's easy is adding animated subtitles, which you'll actually be able to access by the end of the stream. Let's see. My bad sometime. Can you give me a hand? DMs or something? You seem like a guy who could really help. Yeah, for sure. Open, there's a Discord link. At the top of the chat. That's the pinned Discord link. And in there, we've got a growing community of Resolve users. We've got help chat. We've got general troubleshooting. There is also going to be, or there also is already, a chat that has all of my current videos, I believe, along with project files, and you can talk about kind of the lessons behind that. You can learn, you can experiment around with some stuff like advanced node trees like this. So yeah, for sure, jump in there, and then I'll be able to give you a hand, and who knows, you might make some friends along the way. All right, so there is, I think, what we're gonna do is we're gonna have all these are each going to be their own individual effects. And actually, let me show you what these are. So naturally, we have the growing one, we have the shrinking one, where it starts at a certain size and then just shrinks as it goes. We've got one that actually shakes. We've got one that ripples, which that one's really cool. Hey, good to meet you too. Good to meet you too, 3Z. And then we have a float one as well, which the float one's fun. It just kind of bobs there. So I'm gonna get rid of all of our connections, because actually we're not gonna need any of these. I'm going to disconnect all of these. You're basically watching me take apart like one of those Lego sets. But I'm taking it apart in pieces. So I guess I should explain a little bit about what this actually is, so that it doesn't look like I'm just, messing around with a bunch of nodes. This actually started off as a whole big text preset. So we had a bunch of constant animations, so you could have your text animating well on screen. We had a bunch of animations for the text to actually animate in. We had a fade, a grow and shrink, shaking, other stuff, and then the same for it going off of the screen. So you could, off of the screen. So you could have it animate in, animate out, and then, and then have animations when it was on the screen. And then there were some other cool features, but that was the basis of it. It was like probably 7 different presets combined into one, and then you would have like 5 additional animations you could add on. So you end up with like 200 plus combinations, aside from some of the other features. So now what I'm doing is I'm taking all those animations and I'm breaking it down so that, right, they're gonna be individual animations instead. So like a fade in and fade out, right? And I guess I don't need the transform for this. I can just go boom, boom, and transform, and just like that. And so it becomes, it goes from being like this to being like this. There you go. Happy I could help 3Z. Hopefully we're able to get you sorted out. So I think the first thing that we're gonna do, is take these 5 effects and we're going to make these into static effects that you can just throw on anything. Another thing we need to do, actually, is take all of this stuff and I need to make a proper effect or a proper preset for animating anything. So instead of it being text, you would just plug whatever media you have into all these nodes, and then you could decide how you wanted that to animate in instead. So all of this stuff is typically what I would consider to be like the grunt work, or like the kind of tedious stuff for being behind the scenes. But because I'm doing that and it's fairly simple and straightforward, I'm able to stream it, and I'm able to talk to people and help people out, help you learn a little bit about Resolve, help you gain more confidence, and figure out how to do different things so that you can work with, you know, your dream clients and whatnot and not what. So let's keep going. So I think first thing we're going to do is we're going to take all these, turn them into individual effects. We're going to have them tested out in, I believe I have a tier 3. I haven't created the tier 3 one yet. Tier 3 folder. I sort everything by numbers based on what kind of effect it is. And we're going to test them all out on a couple pieces of media. And the way that you actually sort your nodes goes based off of what kind of effect it is. Pardon me. So, for example, if you're doing a generator, right, if you're going to do something like this, right, where you have a 4-color gradient, where you have a 4-color gradient, this, because it's its own its own piece of media, it doesn't stack onto anything else. You have to connect your media out node, which is this. And this is what tells DaVinci Resolve for Fusion, which is the page we're in right now, This is what says, hey, take all this data and actually show it on the viewer here. Actually display that data, right? So that's how we're able to view this. If you have an effect, like if you have footage, that's already being fed into something like this. If you go into Fusion, because it's a clip already playing on the screen, and you're just adding kind of some nodes in between it. So you don't need to add the media out for a simple effect, as opposed to a generator, which is, you know, its own kind of thing of media. And so because we're making effects that are they're gonna go onto existing pieces of media, we're basically just gonna take this node and we're gonna create a new macro just like that, and it's just a singular node. And I think this should be good how it is. And this is going to be grow test 1. If you're making macros, always test them out, or always give them proper names, because chances are it's not going to work. It's not going to work just off the bat. Oh, I'm going to want to change the... Before I do that, I'm going to want to reset the pivot of everything back to normal. Yeah, that's fine. There we go. The pivot is the point in which something moves around. It's kind of like the center of the world, and so if the world is turning and something is here, that thing is going to go like this. But if it's closer to the inside, it's going to go like this. So if I have text and I want my text to rotate, for example, I can actually show you right now. Right, and I start... let me do this. Yeah, that should be good. I think I was adjusting the rotation of... I was adjusting the angle. Here we go. I was adjusting the angle. Nope, that one's fine. Okay, we should be good. So if I am... Where's my layout? If I'm going to rotate something, let's just get a transform for this. Okay, so this green X, this is the pivot point. So if I move the angle for here, it's going to rotate around that pivot point, right? But if I put this to 0.2, now the X is right on the text, and now the text actually rotates as if the point of origin is right on the G. And I can even move this, I can even move this like a little bit more, so it's right on the center of the G. And now you can see it moves. It looks a lot better than something like this, but you know, this is something that you can experiment with when you're making any kind of effect, if you find that useful, right? Then drop a like in the... No, I'm joking. But if you find it useful, then, you know, you can use that information. Okay, I don't need this right now. But I do need all of these. All the pivot points are set back. The grow is proper. So basically, this is what it's going to look like over time. Nice. Okay. Now we turn it into a macro, and this is going to be grow test 1. And I don't think I need to worry about adding on any other effects here, because when you're in your inspector, you already have a transform menu here. So I should be able to literally... Oh, I just need the input so that we can plug something into it. And that should be good. So we're going to save that. We're going to go into here. Here's a whole bunch of stuff I made before. And I'm going to go into my effects. Let me do this. I'm actually going to make a folder right now called testing because we're doing so much today. We're going to throw everything in there. And so now, let's get a 4-color generator. I'm going to go into here. I've got testing. I'm going to throw the grow test on. And that's not allowing us to throw it on. Now, that might be because it is a generator. And I don't remember if you can actually put things on generators. So, yeah. So this, it's funny, this is a frame from a Netflix TV show called Yellowstone, and I grabbed it because I wanted to see exactly how big the letterboxing was, because I noticed it wasn't perfectly sized. And it looks like our grow effect is working. We can size it properly, we can move it, and it still functions properly. Nice. Okay, that one is done. I'm gonna be right back. I'm gonna go blow my nose because I feel like my brain is like leaking out. Oh, hey, good. Don't go anywhere. I'm gonna blow my nose. We'll be right back. You just joined. We had our first. We just tested our first effect, our first test effect of the day. We're gonna make like 15 more. I'll be right back. We have tissues. The brain leakage will bother us no more. Anyways, I'm back. How you doing? Good. Yeah, we are today all about making presets. So, actually, let me reset the size for this. This will be our test clip. This sad screenshot. You're doing fine? Good to hear, good to hear. How can we make that fine into a good, just like your name? That's what I want to know. As I say, as I lose the cap from my water bottle, we'll take care of that after. Okay, next is the shrink preset, which should be good. Should be good from the start. Now, as we make all of these... Nice. All right. I'm glad I can help you with that. There's something you guys should know about these presets. Why I'm able to just like right click and then be like, oh yeah, perfect. It's a grow preset now. It'll just naturally grow, and that's because we already have a whole bunch of stuff set up from back when I was first making this, and these are expressions. So we've got modifiers and we have expressions all kind of built into this. And what an expression is if you were bad at math, don't worry, in school you'll still be able to follow along with this. An expression is a math formula that just tells a property, which is like your center, for example. It just tells a property what value to have based on the frame. So like frame 100 be a 10, frame 200 be a 20. And so it just uses a variable, right? And so a variable is just like, it's like x in school. It's like x plus 5 equals 10. And you have to figure out, okay, well, what's 10 minus 5? 5. And so it's, okay, so x equals 5, right? There's your algebra lesson for the day. But that's how we're making these. That's how I can just right-click this, name it shrink test 1, add an input, do nothing else, and it just works. That's how I'm able to do that, is because we've done all this work in the background, which I'm so happy we've done that. And these are all going to be free. These are all going to be free for you guys on the store page, which there's a link. I didn't put a link in the description. I should do that. I'll put a link in the description close to the end of the stream. And no math, you're already dying. After this, can I send you a short clip and you can try to make that effect? Yeah. There's actually there's a chat in the Discord of like what presets, or like preset suggestions, what presets you want to see me make. Throw it in there, and then I'll check it out after the stream. We've got this one, constant shake. For this one, I'm actually going to need both of these. The constant shake, right, obviously shakes our text. The directional blur makes the shake believable. Motion blur is something that is natural to our eyes, at least. If you wave your hand in front of your face, right, it's naturally not crystal clear and sharp. And that is because motion blur. It blurs naturally. Constant shake, I just need input. And directional blur, I just need output. And I'm pretty sure, yeah, my pivot is 5. Everything's good. Directional blur, that's all fine. So we're going to name this shake test 1. Boom, bing, bang, bong, and pow. Look at that. So now we go into here, test the shrink one, just like that. So like you guys are gonna have access to all these drag and drop effects, and I guess I should also do something like this, and then yeah, that's exactly what we want. I was worried for a moment that what was going to happen is that even if I split this, it was going to pretend that the beginning was here, and it was going to, not allow this thing to shrink from the beginning of the split clip here, but no, that works. And then shake test, boom, just like this. If you have someone yelling, you have some kind of chaos ensuing, shake test has you to emphasize. Shake test is there. It's going to help you emphasize that. Okay. Back over here for the ripple. We are good to go. Oh, this is interesting. Okay, never mind. I thought I cannot create a macro based on the group. And that is because this ripple is not an actual node. It is a group of 2 nodes. Oops. There we go. And what I need to do is take my displace, right? Make sure everything goes into here. The music beat detection, not normal in DaVinci. Is music beat detection? I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know what that is. Music beat, I'm guessing that's supposed to say detection. Is music beat detection not normal? Are you talking about like where would it be? There's like audio effects. There's a music remixer, but that's a little different. I'm gonna move over here. Right, so we need both of these. We're gonna make this into a macro. Don't need the fast noise, just the displace. We need the input and we need the output. Everything else is fine. We're gonna name this Ripple Test 1. And save. Here we go. Edit. Effects. And ripple test. Bam. Look at that. If you right click on audio, there's an option to detect music beats. Oh, I do think that's a new feature. I'm gonna blow my nose. 1 second. I'm glad you guys did not have to hear that. Oh, it's only on studio? That is kind of sucky, but honestly, you don't have to worry about like music beat detection for being like. You don't have to worry about that very much. Do I have some music here that I can show you? I'll show you just an example. Oh, what better musical example than Coconut Mall from Mario Kart Wii? Okay. Let's pull this all the way out and definitely not get copyright struck from this. Let's not do that. But I'm going to show you here. You can actually see the beats on your waveform. This is what I've been doing forever. If I pause the music, and how loud is that? Okay, that's fine. So I think this is the ding. Yeah. So you can typically look at your music after you've listened to it, and you can look at where the beats are. So this should be like around where the second verse is. Yeah, so there's second verse. Allergies? Good question. I do not have a flu. I would not be streaming if I had the flu. That would suck. But that's how you can do your own music beat detection. Just you get really good at looking at the waveform, being able to tell exactly what you're seeing, just based off of what you're looking at. It's a skill that you'll gain over time. Right? It's not necessarily something you can just. It's not something. Do you want to see how many beats my music has? Sure, throw it in the Resolve chat. Yeah, it's something that will come with time. All right, float test. Pardon me. Float test 1. And we're going to save that. Move this out of the way. Where did that just go? Oh, here we go. Float test 1, edit, effects, testing, and let's take a look. We don't have any other effects on here. Something that you can do, actually. You can stack effects. So I could have... Oh, let's also test the ripple. Ready? That's fun. Yeah, so there's our ripple. Our ripple's good. Ripple works. And I should be able to stack these on top of each other. Yeah, so you can just stack effects as well. You love to see it. You love to see it. We tested. We have to test the float now. There we go. Beauty. And the float actually has a slight offset. So if I go to here, actually I can keep my effects open for this. If I go to here and we just look at kind of the bottom area, we just watch right here. You can see it goes up, down, and it only goes down to about here. Then it goes back up, comes all the way down, then up, all the way down. And it's that kind of thing that keeps the float a little bit more engaging as opposed to just having the exact same loop. You get a little bit of a stagger in between them. And there we go. We actually have now all 5 of these done. Sent. All right, I'll take a look. Be sure to send the effect that you want to see made as well. I'll take a look at that at the same time. All right, now for these, we are actually going to need our text for. So I'm glad I didn't change any of the stuff here. We're going to do a fade in and fade out. We'll keep the end transform. And I'm going to hit Alt and click here just to add kind of an extra little node to keep the connection clean as opposed to just kind of moving across everything. All right, so this is going to be our fade in, fade out text. Oh, it's in the music channel. Okay. I look forward to seeing what song you have. So the fade in, fade out. Actually, you know what? Maybe we should make the animate anything one first. I think that will be a little bit more interesting for you to see. So I'm going to move this up. I'm going to copy everything from over here because I have this at a point that I want to keep it. I'm going to do that. I'm going to get rid of the media out because we don't actually need that. I'm going to keep all my switches. We're going to get rid of the color switch completely, but only after I add a transform to it. Boom, just like that. And now I can get rid of it. And I don't need any of these. Purple text, red text, orange text, blue text. Get out of here. Why do you move your nodes in a grid? Mine move freely. Okay, so the way you can have your nodes kind of stick to the grid is you right click, you go to arrange tools, and then you can hit to grid. That's how you're going to get them to grid. Otherwise, you can do to connected, you can do auto arrange. If you have everything and you normally keep it kind of free flowing and you just want it arranged once to grid, then you just hit line up all tools to grid. Easy little effect there for you. All right, mid switch, in switch, out switch, end transform. Let's zoom in a little bit. So we actually have all the animations, but with none of the text that goes with it. All that for text? Well, yeah, it used to be, but the thing that made it, or the thing that makes it so powerful, the reason why we have all these nodes just to animate text is because it is basically what you got. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This one's a still, so we can count it technically. So you've got 8 different presets basically, all packed in. You've got 8 different presets packed into a single drag and drop text preset. So when you buy this, you're actually getting 8 different presets. And not only that, they're not bound to one another. So you can have your text fade in and then shake out. You can have it grow in, and then you can have it fade out. You can have it do whatever you want. And then on top of that, you've got your 5 mid animations. I've got some other stuff where you can selectively blur text. There's an easy color drop-down menu. There's all kinds of stuff. So it seems like it's a lot of work for text, but then you get to using it, and literally it is... Let me show you. So if I get rid of this, here we go. Let me do this, and type in Isaiah grade text. So pull this down a little bit. So animates in, and then animates right back out. If I decide, oh, I don't want it to animate in like this, I want it to shake in. Boom, shakes in. Then I can have that same out animation. If I want to change the out animation, right, have it go like that instead, right? I can have it fade in, and then I can have it shrink out, let's say. So fades in, shrinks out. I can have it shake constantly while it's on the screen. And let's say someone's like yelling, I can add in the aggro shake for the in, and then for the out, let's actually have it shrink. So I can go something like this. Someone's like, oh my God, something's chasing us, keep running. And then just like that, right? Let's say there's some profanity, right? They're screaming, they're cussing. It's a super tense situation. They have, like, you know, it's life or death, right? I can then do something like this, where I can blur a portion of the text. So I can do something like this, boom, and so now that's so that the out animation could be them dying, but you know, you're also able to actually have the text sensor, and it'll adapt because the pixel frequency needs to change if you increase the size over time. Like if it's a constant grow, right? So yeah, there's a bunch of different things you can do with this. If you want to color code, a lot of people color code their text, right? Easy, easy, easy. Get the same colors every single time. You don't have to worry about saving color codes, those 6-digit codes that you would normally see in like generators. You do a 4-color gradient, you decide to change the text. You either need to remember a 6-digit color code, you need to have everything saved and hope that it doesn't reset itself, or you're going to need 5 of the same preset, and the only thing that's different is, you know, I have this preset, but it's green, this one, but it's blue, right? You don't have to worry about any of that with this. It's just easy peasy. Change it to whatever you want, and you can toggle things on and off. Bam, way you go. Easy. Only one I know if is FFFF. I'm pretty sure that's white. I'm pretty sure that's just like a straight white preset, or like just I'm pretty sure that's just white. So now what I'm gonna do is we're gonna make a whole bunch of these, but we're gonna have it be just the individual ones. So if you want, you know, the fade in, fade out, you can have that, right? And for the individual ones, those are all going to be free. So you're going to be able to be like, oh, I just want some fade in text, some simple fade in text. Do. So you think about having like all that together. That's kind of like the premium version. And these would be like the light version of that. So let me make sure. Okay. Here's something I would forget every time I exported a text preset. I would have always left the actual text box filled. And we're also going to change this to Open Sans. There you go. Because that's a font everyone has. If you don't have the font that this comes with, And it's like, oh, media not found, or it can't show. That's easy. You don't need to worry about that. You just change it to a font that you do have, and then it'll display. So we are going to go to here, macro, create macro, and we're going to do fade in text test, pardon me, 1. And so now I need to look at all these nodes and be like, all right, what am I including in here? And what do I want to keep in? Everything that is here is fine. The only thing I actually need to make any kind of adjustment to is this text here. So I look for the name, I match it. Main text white. Get rid of image, we don't need that. Styled text is the actual, like, what you're typing in. Font style, we keep that. Color green, blue, alpha, size. We're actually going to get rid of this because I don't think we need that. Size tracking, line spacing. What did I put in my note here for what we want? Text style, font, size tracking, line spacing, color, which we're going to do in shading. That's why we didn't do color here. Actually, yeah, we can leave that to shading. So we're going to leave all that here. I'll put the start and end in just in case somebody needs that, but that should be a relatively kind of obscure thing that gets used. Transform, I don't need that. Here we go. Layout, transform, shading. This is what we want. So we'll put just the text body available. And that's enabled. Everything else we don't need. And what we're gonna do is enable the color here. And even though we only have green, blue, and alpha, this color here is actually red. So really quick. Yeah, we don't need this. We're gonna exit out of this. We're gonna save text test preset 1. I'm gonna go onto my text or my titles one here, and I'm gonna make a testing folder, throw it into the testing folder, save that, and now when I go into titles, testing, fade in text test 1. Get rid of this. Nice. And I can change the color of this to whatever I need. Let's throw a 4-corner gradient underneath it just so you can see. Yeah, we have the shadow and we have the outline as well. Perfect. If I put this back to my default font that I use, boom, just like that. And easy peasy. Now we can actually see everything, right? And then the rest of these are disabled because you don't really need anything past 3. This one, we're just going to enable basically the color. And that's all we need. You can have it right on, right off. And then for the actual adjustments for position, we just have something like that. And fade on, fade off. Boom. That's all we need. So that is our test 1. I'm going to leave the 4-corner gradient available. And actually, here, I'll show you guys a little something cool with this. Is a lot of people have issues where I'll animate text, and actually here we'll do a example for someone who's completely unfamiliar with this. So I do this. I want to animate my text, and I'm like, okay, this is great. I'm going to put a keyframe here so my text goes, right, or my text starts here. I'm going to put a keyframe here, so now it's over here. And that's great, that's awesome. And then I'm going to fade it in myself with my arms, like little arms here, and it's going to go like this. Boom. But then, if I drag it out on either end, right, I'm like, oh, I just need it resized, something like this. Now it fades in, and you don't get that keyframe acting until later on, right? It becomes very, what's the word I'm looking for here? It becomes very, like, it becomes a huge headache. Something like this, where you can see it fades on, goes to the end, fades out. I can drag the hands in on this, or I can drag the ends in, and it will just adapt, right? I could drag it out to be super long, and let's adjust this. It'll still fade in, still fade out. I can split it, and now each one becomes its own piece. Super, super useful, super, super awesome. Save you a ton of time keyframing it yourself. I can split it a whole bunch, right? Beautiful stuff, beautiful stuff. And let me re-enable this. Here we go. So huge, huge benefit. These are going to be completely free. Each individual one is going to be completely free. You'll have all the features that I just showed you a moment ago with... Oh, this is not it. This is my mid animation. You're going to have all the features that I just showed you where we were doing... Where is it? Titles. Right, where you can adjust all these settings here, right? Keeping it super, super simple, pain-free, easy to use, saves you time. Right? Mwah, chef's kiss. Okay. On to the next one. You might be wondering why I keep this node here labeled end transform. You never know when you're going to want to move everything all together. And that's exactly, that's the whole reason, right? So if I have this, and let's throw some text on here, right? I can move my text from here. Pain is the teacher of editing. Pain and time, it is what it is, right? I call it growing pains, because if it's just normal pain, that sucks. If you get to grow from it, that's good. So for something like this, if I take my text and I move it up here, it's not going to register properly here, right? So what I'm basically doing is taking all the information up to this point, and I'm just plugging it into here so that I can have all my animations take place uninterrupted, and then I can make some adjustments, right? I can make some adjustments here. It keeps everything pain-free, right? That's the goal overall. Keep everything pain-free, keep it all easy. And let's do this. This is going to be our grow and shrink text. So we're going to go like this. And we're going to label this grow and shrink text test 1. And because I don't need, right, because this is basically a closed circuit, we're keeping the media out connected. So now I'm just looking for the main text. Here we go. Because nothing else, we're not changing these settings for anything else. So image is gone, file style text, font style, color we're leaving, tracking, all of this stuff, the start, the end, leave all that in. Layout, transform, select element. We're going to keep 1 on there. And we want the, where is it? Color. Boom. Just like that. And I'm gonna switch the song because that song feels like I should be taking a nap. All right. So, grow and shrink. Throw that into titles, testing. And let's take a look, shall we? Titles, grow and shrink test. Okay. The moment of truth. Does it work? Grow and shrink. Let's see. It does. On the in. Does it work on the out? There we go. Another fun free preset. And you can change the color, of course. We take those. Hell yeah. You got 10K, only 120 more to go for studio. Hell yeah. See, you're on the way. You're on the way, good. You're making it. Keep on going. Okay. Let's do the next one. We're going to do shake in and shake out. And I can actually connect all of these to each other. The stills I actually don't even need because otherwise, like, you just have normal text. So, shake in, shake out. I keep the end transform on there, even though it's not going to get used. I keep it on there just in case. So this is shake in and out text test 1. And if anyone has any questions about all this stuff, definitely feel free to ask. Be like, hey, why does your text just seem to magically adapt to, you know, whatever kind of way that you size it? Why, like, how does it all work? Because this is an editing and chatting stream, so feel free to ask all kinds of questions. I'm gonna add the start and end. Oh, before I do that, let me go to here. There we go. Move it so the shading is always on tab 1 to get us started off. And now we'll label this shake in and out text test 1. There we go. Image, text, boom, boom, boom. Keep all these, boom, boom, boom. We want the start. We do want the end. Layout, transform, shading. We want select element 1. Keep that enabled. And here is our color. Perfect. Bam. Titles. Testing. And let's see. Does our third free text preset work? Throw some text in there. There's the shake in. There's the shake out. Bam. Another one. And this music. The music is way too chill for me. I need something that's a little bit more upbeat. Can I get? Let's see. I need something like, let's do, sure, we can do like some hip hop. Let's see. None, I don't think these are stream beats. Let's go playlists. Where did all the playlists go? That's so weird. You know what? I'm fine with this one. This one will work for me. Okay, on to the next one. So we did our normal shake in. Now we need our aggro shake, which is for the really, really aggressive yelling. So let's put that together real quick. All right, same thing we did before. Create macro, and I don't need image. You'll probably never, ever use anything from here, unless you're doing something hyper specific, right? Same with these settings. You probably won't ever change these, right? I'm gonna get rid of this. Just gonna go style, text, font, style, size tracking, line spacing. These are all settings that you'll typically see in your inspector. So like if I go here, size tracking, line spacing, right? Font, and then this won't actually show, but that is your style, I believe. Yeah, this is your style. This is your actual style text. So we're gonna go layout, transform. Again, we don't need any of those. Select element allows me to show all my elements. I'm gonna keep this enabled so that you can actually make changes to it. Enable the ability to change the colors, and this was our aggro shake in and out. Oh, and then I gotta put text test 1, and I'm going to actually copy this text test 1 little phrase here so that for the next 3 I can just hit paste once I have this. Actually, you know what? Let me do this. I can copy all of this. Go bam. And I think that is ready for us to go. So we're going to go titles, same thing that we've been doing. Have everything organized in their proper files. Let's go back into the edit page. Aggro shake in and out. Text. Test 1. Shorten this down. And something cool about this as well is however you drag it, because this is using a perturb, which is a modifier, which I will do a video on eventually for you guys. Huh. I'm noticing, wait a second. We're not actually using the whole playlist. 1 second. Sorry about that. Can you do that? A video on modifiers? Absolutely. Right now, I need Stream Beats. Oh, the ambient album. Let's see. Stream Beats by Harris Heller. Stream Beats by Harris Heller. I'm just trying to get some stream music for you guys so you're not bored. Or so that there's like, not so you're not bored, but so there's like something kind of in the background. Why is... Okay, maybe I can put this on. Here we go. And this is a playlist. Perfect. Great stream. Thanks, Joe. I'm glad you're enjoying it. Yeah, modifiers are kind of like a preset for animated keyframes. So with this one, we just use a very aggressive perturb, and because perturb, it's similar to an expression, which just says, hey, be this value at this time. Like, be value 10 at 10 frames, be value 20 at 100 frames. This does something similar. So if I have the shake here versus here, and then I move it in a little bit, now you're going to notice the shake pattern is completely different. This one's a side to side. If I move it in, right? Okay, well, that one's still side to side. But yeah, now at the very end, it goes up and down. So that's a cool thing with the aggro shake text, is if you want a different pattern, you can just adjust the sizing of it and then move it over, and you're gonna have that. That's gonna be something you can do. And right, again, all these individual pieces of text are gonna be 100% free on the store. They're like the light version of the big text preset, which is over here. You're gonna get access to all those for free. You've heard of modifiers. You've been using Resolve for a year now. You love it. It's a bit confusing, but you have it figured out. Okay. Yeah, and so Resolve, and especially like Fusion and the color page here, they tend to be the two big monsters everyone stays away from, but a lot of it is just saturating yourself in the software. Dedicating the time to those growing pains. I've been using the software for five years now. I think I'm almost on, or I'll be on year 6 soon. I've been using the software since 2020, so it's been quite the ride. But only in this last year have I really dedicated myself to upgrading my Fusion knowledge. I can make anything in Fusion as long as I can see it in my head, or I can see a reference. If you show me something, like, do I have any kind of assets I can throw on here? Oh, actually, here's a good one. You guys are gonna love this. If I go generators, and I go here. So the Disney Plus, we've all seen Disney Plus before, right? If I can see it in my head, or I can see it on a screen, I can build it. And so this is something I created. It's a 1-to-1 recreation of the Disney original text. 6 years been using the color page and Fusion. Now you're getting used to it. Good to hear. Yeah, it'll take some time, but you'll get used to it. There's a lot of different creators out there that make some really, really good content. Let me do this as well. That make some really, really good content, and you can basically just binge watch it. Take notes on all the important stuff. Definitely look up videos on how to speed up your editing workflow, because that's going to help you a ton. Like keyboard shortcuts. Keyboard shortcuts are incredible. All right, thanks for stopping by, Joe. You have a good one, man. Hope to see you at the next stream. Like, I can make basically anything I can see. That's the point you want to get. That's the point you want to get to when you are when you're in Fusion. Because it's good to kind of be able to know how to make a lot of basic stuff. But you want to get to the point where you can just think of something, or you can see something and be able to recreate it. Because that is what a lot of clients are going to be after. They're going to go, oh, I really like this style, right? I really like the style of, this creator or that creator. Can you make me something that's like, that's like them? And a lot of the time, it's going to be something that you've never made before. Shrink and grow in and out. Shrink and grow in, shrink and grow out. Here we go. A lot of the time, it's going to be something that you've never seen. They're going to find some obscure creator who's been doing it for years. There's the robot, I know. I try good. But it's going to be, something obscure you've never seen before. The creator whose asset, or the creator whose asset they're using as reference, they've been, making that for 4 or 5 years. They've been using it for 4 or 5 years, and now they're like, hey, can you make this thing or can you make something for me in this style? And you're going to have to be able to do that in, a certain time period, whatever you're able to do. Shading, and it's not always easy, but learning to think, I guess it's kind of like an engineer, learning how to think like an engineer, where you can reverse engineer something and go, okay, right, for the Disney Plus one, for example, it's a gradient background, you have like a little arc animation, you have some text that pops onto the screen. What do each of those pieces look like individually, and how can I make those? Like, how can I actually create that? Okay, well, I know how to use a background. I know how to make it into a gradient. I know how to animate text at a basic level or at an advanced level. Then it becomes just a matter of making all the puzzle pieces and then putting them together. All right, let's do our shrink and grow and in and out. And let's give that a test. Shrink and grow in and out. Do this. Here we go. Bring this down a little bit. Shrink for a couple frames in, and then grow. And then shrink and grow again. As opposed to the grow and shrink, which is coming out and then coming back in. So instead of going like in and then out, it's going out and then, yeah. So both of these seem to be working. We can adjust our colors as per usual. That's what we want. So we've got 5 out of 6 presets done. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Got all these ready for you. Bam. Bam. And then, oh, we did the fade, actually. We did the fade in, right? Shrink and grow in, shrink. Oh, then shrink in. Wait a second. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we've done 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Wait a second. Where did I put... Did I miss one? Oh, I missed the grow in. I think that's what I did. So we will do grow in next, unless I'm mistaken. We did grow and shrink. Yeah, so we didn't do the grow. We'll do that one next. And then after that, there's the shrink in. I was like, I knew I did more than this. Let me... Yeah, okay, so this has no text on it. That's good. I want it to be a clean slate for you guys. And here's our grow in and grow out. Kablamo, 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 kablamo. Line spacing, everything that we've been doing for all the rest of them. We're keeping it consistent. There we go. How is everyone's week going? It is Friday. It is Friday after all. It's the end of the week. How's everyone's week going? Are we looking forward to any plans for the weekend? Anything interesting going on? Any kind of new and exciting adventures taking place? Are we making anything new? Are we wanting to learn any new kind of resolve skills or anything similar? I have a buddy who there's a guy in the Resolve server who I talk to. He's learning like a lot of special effects, VFX stuff as well. He's doing Nuke, he's doing Houdini, which those are like VFX softwares, macro editor. The macro editor, well, there's the macro creator and editor are basically the same thing. And so the way that they actually work is you're basically just saying, hey, like through checkboxes, enable me to change this property, enable me to change this one, this one, this one, so that when I type in here, right, I can actually make those adjustments, right? For line spacing, that's going to look like this. For the right on, right, that's going to look like this. So now, let's bring this down, like even the color, right? I can go whoop, change that. Let's see, grow in, grow out, just like that. And that is exactly what we want. Here we go. And then I think the last one that we had, if I'm not mistaken, was just the basic shrink one, right? I think that was the last one. We have our shrink and grow, or we have our shrink in and out. Wait a second. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's got to be one more that we haven't done. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I think it's the shrink. Wait a second. Wait a second here. Oh, that's shake, not shrink. Sorry. Okay. We're good. Shrink and grow. Okay, so we are on the last one. So main text, make sure there's nothing on there. And let's make the final macro. So quick walk through the macro editor. You're going to drag a window over all of the nodes that you want included. You're going to right click, making sure they're all selected. Go to macro, create macro. Now is when you're going to name it something that's relevant to the macro, which is super important because you want to be able to find it. So here's shrink in and out text test 1. You're going to enable all of the properties that you want to be able to adjust when you have that actual effect on your edit page, or if it's just a macro that stays inside of Fusion, then same thing. You're going to want those properties available to you. In our case, it's this color here, so we can change the color of our text. You're going to hit close. It's going to ask you if you want to save your changes. And then you're going to save them into whichever folder you want to find them in Resolve, which in our case, it is in titles, and then our IG folder in testing. And now we have our shrink, right? Our shrink in and out text. And bam, that is that. We now have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We now have 7 different text presets that work within DaVinci Resolve. And in effects, we have 5 different default kind of animated effects in Resolve. So if I do fade in, for example, and I'm pretty sure I can stack these. So if I do the fade in and I go to not generators, I go to effects, I go to here, and I want this to ripple, I should be able to just throw that on. There we go, just like that. So with these, it is very much a light version of the actual main master text preset, the all-in-one, because you don't have the ability to censor text. You don't get really much. You don't get much of the modular control, or you don't get any of the modular control with the in and out. But you do have the ability to, to have 7 different presets for free, and then you can add on the additional animations. So you're getting like an incredible amount of value and flexibility with this. And the best part is I get to give it away to you guys for free, which is always something that is enjoyable. So I'm going to go to here. I'm going to go show folder. And so now I need to grab all these, and I'm going to copy these into my downloads so that I can actually package them. And you guys can use them on the store page, or you can find them on the store page. So I'm going to do this and throw those in there. I'm going to put these up on the store page after the stream. Bing, bang, boom. And now it is time to make the animate anything. The animate anything preset, which is basically going to look just like this. And I think this is all I need. We have our mid animations when it's on screen. We have the in. We have the out. The only decision left to make is, do I make individual ones for these, or do I keep it modular? I think we will keep it modular for now. I don't need to worry about really any of these. The only thing I need to be looking at is the transform 2, which should be here somewhere. I'm also going to open up all of my switches here, because we're going to want to be able to make adjustments. Here we go, in switch, and then out switch should be somewhere down here. Here we go, out switch. So source out animation, boom, boom, boom. Enable all these because I want to be able to switch between all these. And let's go to our in animation. I want to be able to switch between all these as well. And then for transform, all I want is input. That's all I want available with this one. Oh, actually, before I do that, really quick, I need to get rid of the pivot expression for here. Here we go. Otherwise, this would have tried to grab a pivot point from something that didn't exist, and when you start trying to make Resolve use things that don't exist, that's when things break. So now that we have that sorted out, we caught that. I'm gonna name this animate anything test 1. Right, I don't need that. I do need the transform and the in switch. I don't need configuration. I just need the input enabled because this is this makes it so that I can actually plug media into the transform and then into here, and then that allows it to kind of flow out through here. The media out is already taken care of, so I don't need that. So boom, we've got that. We want all of these available. And here we go. Here's our mid switch. Boom, boom, boom. What I'll do is I'll probably make this one available for like either free or for like $1 or something, because it's relatively straightforward, just something to save you time, right? That's what most of these and most of the stuff that I'll be making. It's either going to be really cool stuff or it's going to save you time. I'll have some more educational stuff coming out down the line. Some really, really cool stuff, actually. I am planning on doing a whole educational piece on how you can actually make macros for yourself. We need our out switch right now, though. Where can I find my out switch? This is something else that can be a little bit of a headache when you're creating macros that are this big, that have this many available properties to control. It makes it even more important that you label everything, right? Because if I just had this as like transform whatever instead of labeled as my out switch, I wouldn't know where to find it. So always label your stuff. The end transform here, I don't need to worry about. We're just going to leave that alone. End transform's good. It has the output enabled. Out switch we have, mid switch we have, in switch, and transform 2. Animate anything test 1. Close. Yes. Now I'm going to throw this into my effects, into testing. Now when we go back into here, let's go to effects, and here we go, animate anything test. So yeah, here in, mid, out. So this should now, let's see. Okay, so there we go. We're running into a problem right off the bat where it's not fading in, but it is fading out. Let's see, take a look. So it's not growing and shrinking in, and it's not doing the out animation. So something is broken, obviously, something's broken, obviously, with this. Oh, you know what? It might be, let's see, grow and shrink. I see what it is. I know exactly what the problem is. You remember at the beginning when I told you about how we can't use values that don't exist? we don't have a main text white _1_1_3 dot center as a available property to use for an expression, meaning that all these nodes are trying to use a property that doesn't exist, except for the fades. The fades are actually not doing that. So for this, if I put this to still and still, let's see. Yeah, so this might just not want to work. The still might even be using an improper pivot, or oh wait, here we go. I think it might be because the still. Yeah, okay, so our mid is using the wrong switch as well. So if I put this to still, let's see. Still nothing. Okay. We can fix that. This is the troubleshooting that is behind the scenes that you don't see. Is something's not working, and it could be any one of these 50 nodes. Why is the one thing not working? It's because we left this all set up improper. Yeah, all this needs to change. The ripple can actually stay. The ripple's going to be fine. The mid switch is fine. The fade in and out is fine. The grow and shrink, all these. We need to take the pivot of boom, boom, and just get rid of all these. The still should be fine. The fades, again, those are all fine. But now, we need to do this. Need to do that. Bam. Get rid of all this. And then the end transform. Okay, so now, everything should be fine. So let's take a look. Create our macro. And why do you have rock music playing? This is the only playlist I could find that would work properly and be no copyright good. Unfortunately, well, fortunately if you like rock music, but I don't mind it personally. This is the only one we could find that would let me stream it so you guys have music without YouTube getting angry. So we're going to do animate anything test 2. And I am going to need basically just all the same nodes that I had before. Transform 2 needs its input available. And then people's attention spans are cooked. But yeah, music is more just, it's nice background. It's nice background stuff. It's like how I have this light in the background. It's just a nice little background thing. Let's see. Where's our in switch? Where's all of our switches? Okay, here's the in switch. Right, boom, 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 boom. All those are good. I don't think I need the output on. Actually, you know what? I might. We'll leave it off this time. Here's something else. When you're testing things, you want to change as few variables as possible when it comes to troubleshooting. Because if you change too many things, if something's not working and then you change a whole bunch of things, you could have fixed it with one of those changes, and then by changing something else that wasn't changed before, you've now broken it again. Let's see. I had the in. We need the mid switch now. Where can I find our mid switch? Here we go. Mid switch at the beginning. And so that's why I'm leaving output unchecked this time, because we fixed all of our pivot properties. So we know that those are not the issue. So now I go into the edit page. I'm going to go here. I'm going to get rid of this. We're going into effects, animate anything test 2. And still nothing, unfortunately. If I put all these as still, and you know what? Let me see, what's this looking like when I have this on? So, okay, so it looks like the problem is this is just straight up not plugging in to anything. Okay, that's interesting. The grow and shrink is working. The grow itself is not working. And then grow and shrink out. Grow and shrink out does work. So it's just the fades. Wait a second. So if I put this as still, and I put this as grow. Okay, so grow isn't working on the mid animation. Shrink isn't working. Constant shake isn't working. Interesting. So fade. Let's try this. Okay, so we have certain things working, certain things not working. What we're going to do, because I need to still test this again. You're going to go drink water. That's a good idea. I would close my water. I lost my cap at the beginning of stream. I'm going to have to find it later. Is we are going to... Oh, you know what? For the end transform, if there's not an output, if I didn't check off output... Let's see. Yeah, we have an output, so that's fine. That's good. But I might have to enable the outputs on my switches. That might be what the issue is. We are about to find out together. So, our mid animation was somewhere up here. I could have sworn. Here's our transform 2. Important that we have the input there. It's getting late. You're going to go to sleep. All right, good. Thank you for tuning in. Always appreciate the company, and I hope you have a good sleep. It's currently almost 3 p.m. over here, so we're going to be up for a while. We're going to do a gaming stream later on the other channel. So anyone who wants to stay up to date on channel news for both this channel and the other channel, then be sure to hit the link in the Discord if you're just interested in Resolve stuff. We've got a growing community of DaVinci Resolve users who are all wanting to do awesome stuff and make awesome stuff like you. So we're going to enable the outputs this time. And I need to find the ever elusive mid switch, which I'm pretty certain, here we go, is above me. There we go. Right. So now we should be good. Animate anything. All right, good. I will see you in the next stream. See you in the next stream, my friend. Animate anything. Oh, here we go. Animate anything. Test 3. Here's to this one working. Fusion. Templates. Edit. Effects. IG. Testing. Animate anything. Version 3. Get rid of version 2. Go to effects. Go to here. Animate anything 3. Come on. Alright, the mid is not working. The grow isn't working. Okay, so there's something... Let me try this. Let's go to the media pool. I'm gonna grab... Actually, no, let's grab the other channel logo. So this is the logo for the other channel. Vaguely. And... Okay, yeah, so something is not hooking up. And if I go into here, I'll probably see what it is. Yeah, it's just straight up not registering. I need to go to here. IG testing, animate anything 3. If I add this onto here, let's see. Yeah, so still nothing. I probably need to connect all of these. And there's 3 outputs. It may just be the wrong output. But that is strange. I'll have to look into this maybe a little bit off stream. Okay, yeah, here we go. So this might be the issue. Actually, you guys are about to see another one of the potential roadblocks that you run into when you're making a custom preset with with multiple available animations. Is sometimes you end up with a version of it where it will connect to one input and not the rest of them. And the key is creating a system where everything is automatically connected already, and you don't need to worry about, oh, I need to come into Fusion and do all this. So now, let's see if this works. No, it's just everything's connected now, but none of the animations are working, which means, let me actually size this down a bit, which means that we need to change something. It means that something isn't working, and a way that we can actually run a test for this without having to export the effect and see, why it's not working is this just a logo? Okay, this is just a logo. And I can use this, but I'm going to want to make sure this is on a 1920 by 1080 canvas. So we're going to do this. All right. So it's working with the grow, it's working with the shrink, works with the blur, it's working with the ripple, it's working with the float. Let me go all the way down to here. And you know what? Maybe I've done something here. Check our key stretcher. Let's see, now everything should be working. I might have to look into this a little bit off stream. We still have some extra stuff that I think we can make. Let me think really quick and see exactly what it was we were going to make. So we have our text. We have our text stuff. The animate anything ones are done. Let's see. The float test. Float test is all good. You know what? Let me check the properties. This goes from... Yeah, it's starting at 1. Everything should be working properly here. Play this from here. Yeah, so that fades in. And then the fade out, obviously. Yeah, it should be working. So both of those are working. Why did my headphones just turn off? Strange. So, yeah, so this is where you run into the, okay, let me test a bunch of things for 2 hours and then figure out the one property that wasn't working. Okay. So all of these should be connected, but they're not. All of these, by the way, all these animations are done using simple transform nodes. You can animate basically anything. The reason that we do this in the first place, instead of having everything on one node, or like for the text, for example, you can animate text on a text node. The reason we do it like this is so that every animation is isolated and can be looked at separately. So that if I need to dive into the shrink and grow animation and see exactly what I've done and where I've done it, I can do that. It keeps everything isolated. There's a little bit more work that goes into it, but the payoff is so much greater. And I think if I check my notes here, what else did we have to do? Oh, I know what I wanted to do. I wanted to go to here and actually release a demo for you guys of the premium version of the text preset so that you could take it out for a test drive before purchasing. So let's do this, and here we go. We're going to leave this like this, and now comes the big part. And I won't keep let's see. I won't actually, you know what? Yeah, this is all good. Yeah, let's do this. This is going to be text preset demo. I'm just waiting for the window to pop up. Here we go. All in one. Text. And then we do preset demo. And this is where a lot of the work comes in. When you're making big stuff like this, it's important you get every single property correct. You make sure that you have everything set up in a way that you want before. So like shading elements, I need it on one. I need the size. I need all this stuff to be set up properly. Otherwise, when it's available, you're going to get it in whatever state I left it in. And that's a huge thing with presets, is if you need if you're giving a blank slate away, or you always want a blank slate with your effect, make sure you set it up beforehand when you are... where's my chapstick? Here we go. Make sure you set it up beforehand as a blank slate so that when you bring it into your timeline, you can make it adapt to whatever kind of environment you have. So in this case, it's main text. We want font, style, we want size tracking, line spacing. We want all of those available. We want the start and the end, and I'm going to label this main text start because there's going to be two more of these, one for the blurred text and one for the extra text at the end. So styled text. This is all good. For the layout and the transform, we're leaving this completely blank because this isn't something that we need to be worried about. Here we go. We're going to enable only the first three text elements because all we have is the text body, the text outline, and we also have the text shadow. So that's all we are enabling. So I'm going to do name, main text. I'm going to do text outline and text shadow. Bam, just like that. Now it's up to me to go through these properties. So the opacity, for example, is something I want available for the first one. Let's see. The color we're not worrying about at all because you're going to have the color drop-down menu. We're not worrying about any of this stuff. And so when you see all these ones beside it, this is all for shading element 1. So it's all for the main text body. Let's see. Opacity 2. That means we are now getting into the outline. So this is going to be outline. Actually, no, I don't need this because you're just going to see the... what's the word I'm looking for here? You're just going to see the element. It's going to be based off the element, so I don't actually need to label these. So you've got opacity, thickness, which we do want available. We don't need the color. Softness, I can keep in there for you guys. And then opacity for the shadow, of course. We're going to have that in there. And then the softness. And then all the way down here, text position. I can have that in there. And this is where having the pivot bound to the position is good, because it means the text will always animate from the center of the text instead of it animating similar to how we talked about earlier in the stream, where if you have your pivot point here and your text is here, if this rotates, your text is going to rotate like this. Like how you have the center of the circle, and if you're on the outside of the circle, you rotate at the outside of the circle, even though the pivot is here. So if you're here, you can actually just rotate from the center. So this is what the text position property is linked to. So this should all be functioning. Shading elements should be good now. Text position should be good. We have our blur text white 1. This we do need to make one adjustment, and that is, here we go, the blur text start and blur text end, because we have the write on for the main text. Now we have the write on for this one. I want you to be able to tell which one you are making adjustments to. So it's important I make that distinction. And then I have somewhere here, blur text blue, mosaic, blah, 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 blur text, blur merge, here we go. So now I'm going to blur visibility, so you can toggle the blur on and off. Extra merge, merge visibility, and this is for your extra text. And now we're going to do the write on and off for the extra text, so that if you have something after the blurred part of your text, you can still have that visible. So that's going to be extra text start and extra text end. Here we go. Boom. So now the text should be taken care of, and that should be, the text is the hard part because there's so many properties that you have to pay attention to. So now we are looking for our color switch, I believe. And for the color switch, I shouldn't need to put the output. It should just be this. It should just be these outputs I need to worry about. We need to do our mid switch for the mid animation. Just like that. Here we go. Our in switch. I'm just making sure you guys can see. Where is our in switch? Let's see. There's our perturb, shrink in, main in, anim curves, still in. Here we go. At the end, our in switch with our in animations. Bam. And now, close to the end, we should have our out switch. There we go. And I believe this will take care of basically everything. And then I'm going to go to my end transform. Actually, I shouldn't need this overall. I should be able to just make adjustments in the settings page. So we're going to leave that one alone, close, and I'm going to go to titles and put this into testing, and the moment of truth. Here we go. Testing. Where did it go? Did I not save it to the correct spot? I might have to close and reopen Resolve for this. We'll see in just a moment. Okay, yeah, so it's all in there. But I'm betting because of the size of the actual preset that it did not, I need to restart Resolve for it to load in again. So that's exactly what we're going to do. In the meantime, how's everyone doing in the chat? Do you have any questions, any comments, anything you want to know about? Curious about anything you're seeing on the screen? And feel free to ask away and away. Ask for days, questions for days, and answers coming at you at the speed of light. Here we go. Resolve is starting back up now. Oh, look at that. Our peak view, 6 people. I'll take that. That means I was able to help 6 people today. Potentially. Either that or they all just enjoyed watching. Okay. Here we go. We are back in action. Here we go. The all-in-one preset demo. So, we have everything available. So, let's throw this onto the 4-color gradient just like before. And then I'm going to go into the actual settings, like the code for this, and I'm going to rearrange the menu around so it's a lot easier to work with, because this is just a mess right now. But let's test all this really quick and see if it works. Boom, just like that. We should be able to change the color. Perfect. What if we want to blur it? Look at the size. That all works properly. Toggle my blur off. Let's have it aggro shake in and then shrink out. And let's have it ripple while it's on the screen. And shrink out. Perfect. Okay. That, I think, pretty much covered everything that I wanted to do for this stream. This is actually a relatively short stream compared to what I want to be doing over the next week or so. And with that, thank you everyone so much for tuning in. For everyone who's asking questions, everyone who joined the Discord, which there's a link, pinned message in the chat. If you want to join a growing community of DaVinci Resolve users making awesome stuff and having a good time, making friends as well, then definitely click the link, join below. You'll be actually, no, I'll need to... Oh yeah, there's a link. The link is in the it's in the chat there. What am I saying? I also have a whole bunch of free stuff that's going to be up on the store page within the next hour or so, along with a couple really awesome paid products. Definitely check those out. I'm going to add a link to the store page in the description as well, so that anyone who's curious and you want to test drive my awesome text preset here, which is like 7 joined into 1. There's over 200 different possible mix and match combinations you can make. Definitely check that out. And yeah, without further ado, thank you everyone so much for watching. We're coming up on 2 hours here, and I will see you all in the next stream. Stay awesome.